Hello friends, it's Megan. So this is my second video in my Anne of Green Gables names series. I grew up on these beloved books by Lucy Maud Montgomery. So in video 1 I talked about some names from book 1, Anne of Green Gables. This is video 2, so fittingly I will talk about some names from book 2, which is Anne of Avonlea. And I'm going to go all the way up to book 6, which is Anne of Ingleside. Just in case you're wondering why some names are missing from this, maybe you remember a wonderful character from Anne of Avonlea that I don't mention. Chances are I already talked about them in my first video, or perhaps I will in one of my future videos. I don't want to repeat the same names in each video, especially because a lot of the characters in book 1 appear in book 2, and so on and so forth. I just thought that would be really boring to say the same names and their meanings over and over again, right? So hopefully I will get to the characters you loved soon if I haven't already. So let's go ahead and take a little trip to Avonlea, and I'll go ahead and get started alphabetically. The first name I have for you is Aurelia, for Aurelia Clay. Aurelia is a Latin name. It means the golden one. I think Aurelia has such a beautiful, like, fairy tale princess worthy sound to it. It sounds really grand and feminine, and I could definitely see a little girl loving this name. Next is Avonlea. So Avonlea is a place name for the fictitious town on Prince Edward Island. It is a guilty pleasure name for me. I think it has a sweet melodic sound to it, and it definitely conjures up memories of reading these books as a child. Then I have Charlotta. Charlotta is for Charlotta Bowman, as well as Charlotta the Fourth. It's a Swedish variation of the name Charlotte, which means free man. It could be a cool alternative to Charlotte, which is actually getting pretty popular, although I do prefer just Charlotte, or even Carlotta to Charlotta. Then I have Davey, for Davey Keith. Davey is a diminutive of the name David, and his name was actually David, and it's a Hebrew name that means beloved. And when I hear the name Davey, I think of Davy Crockett, and I also think of Davy Jones. And his twin sister is Dora, for Dora Keith. Dora is a Greek name. It means a gift, and it's often used as a nickname for names like Dorothy, Dorothea, Theodora, names like that. Because of the cartoon Dora the Explorer, I think this nickname has become just a little less usable, so I don't see it making a comeback in the way other names that end in that aura sound like Nora and Cora are starting to make. Then I have George, for George Berry. George is a Greek name meaning farmer. It's currently number 166 in the United States. There are many bearers of this name, famous men, and there's a little one, the little prince, George. So I do expect George to go up in popularity. It'll be interesting to see the new names this coming May and see how George has gone up, or if it has. My predictions are correct. Then I have Harmon, for Harmon Andrews. Harmon's an English surname, and it comes from the German name Herman. Just knew I was gonna like crack up saying German Herman, but I guess I did a little. Harmon, though, has a very serious and almost like stoic sound to it to me, but I think it's a really cool name. Definitely an interesting character name. Next is Hester, for Hester Gray. Hester is a variation of the name Esther, which means star. This name, I immediately think of the Scarlet Letter when I hear the name Hester. Next is Jacob, for Jacob Donald. Jacob is a Hebrew name meaning supplanter. Very popular. It is the #1 name right now for boys in the United States, and it has been in that spot since 1999, so definitely lots of little Jacobs running around. Then I have Jasper, for Jasper Bell. It's a Persian name. It means bringer of treasure. It can also just mean treasure on its own. It's currently number 264 in the United States. I think Jasper has such a cool sound to it. I know that it was a name that got a boost after the Twilight Saga came out, that series, but I'm glad for it because I think Jasper is cool, like I said. Next is Jordan, for Jordan Gray. So Jordan may remind you of the River Jordan, which is fitting because it's a Hebrew name meaning flowing down. It is a unisex name. For boys in the United States, Jordan is number 48, and for girls it's number 222. Then I have Julia for Julia Bell. Julia has long been one of my favorite names, and I think that combination Julia Bell is lovely as well. Julia is a Latin name. It means youthful. It's currently number 65 in the United States. I think it's so classic and timeless. I love that people know how to say it and spell it, and that it's a good name in other languages as well. So good if you're traveling, I suppose. Then I have Lavendar for Lavendar Lewis. I think this is a really interesting way that Lucy Maud Montgomery chose to spell lavender with an AR ending instead of the traditional ER that you might be used to seeing. Lavender is English, and it's for that delicious smelling flower. It's also a pale purple color. I love the smell of lavender. Little side note. Next is Levi for Levi Bootler. Levi is a Hebrew name. It means attached. It's currently number 55 in the United States. I really love the name Levi. I particularly love it as a middle name, and it just sounds like a cowboy to me, and I love that too. Yay for cowboys. I don't know. Next up is Myra for Myra Gillis. Myra is an English name. It's an invented name. It was invented by a 17th century poet, and it is all the way down in popularity at number 875. Then I have Priscilla for Priscilla Grant. Priscilla is a Latin name. It means ancient. It also means old. It's currently number 489 in popularity. It has a very frilly, girly, kind of lacy sound to it to me. I do know a Priscilla that actually fits that description, so maybe that's why. And then I have Simon for Simon Fletcher. Simon is a Hebrew biblical name. It means listener. It's number 255 in popularity. It has kind of a formal feel to me, Simon. Like, I would not joke around with someone named Simon. I don't know why, but yeah, that's my impression of this name. So this book has lots of beautiful names in it. Here are a few maybe lesser known characters or just names I didn't get to in this video that I still wanted to say because I like to say names, obviously. So here are some, and they are Abe, Clarice, Clifton, Esther, Judson, Lawrence, Mirabel, Morley, Milty, Nelson, and Silas. So thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to check out below. I have all my links, including a link to my latest blog post where I talk more about just my love of this series and names from this series. And please do come back tomorrow when I'll be talking about some names from Anne of the Island. Thank you again for watching. Have a lovely day.